Our top stories this week. In Washington, a couple who runs a medical marijuana dispensary and who believes that marijuana is safer than CPS wins their kids back after losing them because of drug abuse. In Texas, a Sunset panel urges the removal of burdensome paperwork from CPS agents so that they can have more time to screw with families. In South Carolina, a class action lawsuit is filed alleging abuse in that state's foster care system. In Arizona, CPS agents are currently snatching more kids than ever. And in South Australia, the child protective industry is failing kids by leaving them in emergency housing situations for too long. In Indiana, the legislature is considering a bill that would increase access to adoption records for adoptees. In England, the land where inexperienced social workers are being given too much responsibility, as well as the land where whistleblowing social workers are disillusioned as their concerns about abusive or dangerous practices are ignored, and the land where a child welfare watchdog group is reporting a 36% rise in the number of kids who went missing from foster care last year. There is finally going to be a national inquiry in regards to all the child abuse in the secret British foster care system. In the Philippine Islands, police are rounding up street children and putting them in detention centers ahead of a visit by Pope Francis. And Pope Francis goes there and warns that gay marriage and population control plans, or rather the ideological colonization of family, is threatening the traditional family. In Michigan, persistent problems with the state's child welfare computer system is frustrating CPS agents, delaying payments to foster care providers, and complicating efforts to get out from under federal oversight. In Florida, the CPS boss Mike Carroll is promising drastic changes to the state's child protective industry after a little girl was thrown off a bridge. In Maine, a legislator wants to change state law so parents are notified about abuse investigations at daycares. And in California, feminists are pushing to have sexual consent taught to kindergartners. Also in California, a heavily medicated kid dies in a foster home, and investigators are asking why he didn't receive medical attention when he showed signs of being heavily impaired. In Colorado, a foster mother has her preliminary hearing set regarding the death of an 11-month-old in her care. In Georgia, a foster mother is being indicted on charges of killing a 3-year-old with a morphine dose. And in Pennsylvania, 2 teenagers are charged with killing another resident at a group home. The Pennsylvania child protective industry is denying knowledge of a sexual abuse suffered by their adopted son, who sexually assaulted a 7-year-old boy who was placed in their care. In Illinois, a former foster father is being indicted on 7 counts of sexual assault of a child. And in New Mexico, a foster parent who was already facing 5 sex charges has another 9 charges added to the mix. In Florida, a woman was arrested for punching a cop who was aiding and abetting a CPS agent who was snatching her 2-year-old son. In New York, a man gets 4 years for pulling the teeth of an 8-year-old special needs foster child with a pair of pliers. And finally tonight, in Florida, a foster mother is scared after her address was leaked in court documents to the biological parents of the stolen children she's caring for. For these stories and all the latest dirt on the child protective industry, visit www.legallykidnapped.com. And until next week, this is Baby LK, over and out.